I saw 18 new movies in August. I'm going to rank them all right here from worst to best. So let's get right to that tier list. First up, we have the new SpongeBob movie, Saving Bikini Bottom. This is kind of about Sandy. It's kind of like her movie, and this is a direct-to-streaming movie. I think this is on Netflix. I don't know why it wasn't on Paramount. I guess Netflix bought it. Funny story about this one was that it kind of got leaked like a couple months ago, the whole movie. So a couple people already saw it. I decided to watch it even though I knew it was going to be bad, but it was worse than I could have ever imagined. It was like AI made this whole entire movie. This is not what SpongeBob is supposed to be. SpongeBob is supposed to be cool. SpongeBob is supposed to be about SpongeBob, not about Sandy Cheeks. Who cares about Sandy Cheeks? No one gives a damn. And there are some horrible, horrible shots and CGI in this movie. I know I'm kind of roasting a kids movie, but the kids would hate this. I'm baffled about how terrible it is and how much I can't even remember about it. All I remember is kind of it would just be in my nightmares with how bad it was. So that's going to go in the terrible tier. Harold and the Purple Crayon isn't as bad as that SpongeBob movie, but it isn't anything good. You know, I went into this one pretty low expectations, and it is pretty boring, I would say. You know, and it's so weird that Zachary Levi, you know, has completely done a 180 on his career. He's basically ruined it after, you know, being in Shazam and DC and having others, you know, public, you know, outings on his social media about, you know, his rage against other movies. He's just not having a great career at the moment. I don't know if he'll ever bounce back. This movie's not going to do it for him. It bombed at the box office. And Harold and the Purple Crayon, that book is about a little kid with that crayon. In this movie, they made him into a full-grown adult and just made him like really stupid. They tried to pull like an elf in a way, and I just didn't think it worked. I think kids will find this one pretty boring. I don't think kids will find it like terrible, like not bad to watch, but I just thought it was overly long and just really just dumbed down for like really dumb kids. So I felt like this one deserves going to bad tier. Next up, we got the reboot of The Crow with Bill Skarsgård. This one, I really didn't like this one, you know, and I didn't really hate it as much as some other people did, because some people are saying, you know, it's one of the worst movies of the year. It's not that bad, but it doesn't live up to the original movie. And you know, it is a reboot, so they did try to change some things, and some of the changes I did like. I like how they focused on the romance in the first act, and the third act has some cool action sequences, especially at the opera scene, opera house. The second act though is really dreadfully boring to get through. It takes a while to really get to the action here, and it just feels like a lazy kind of rehash and changing of the original story. Bill Skarsgård, I think, tries his best, but I don't feel like he really gets to, you know, kind of gets to the point where he's trying to be, you know, a copy of Brandon Lee. He's changing it just a little bit, but not as much as I really wanted him to. As I said, it's not anything terrible, but I'd still probably not watch it again and just keep watching the original because it is a superior movie. So I'll put The Crow in the bad tier. Next up, we have One Fast Move. This is KJ Apa in a movie about him being a motorcycle racer, and his dad is Eric Dane in this one. He kind of reconnects with this one, and this is kind of about him reconnecting with his dad and, you know, the hardships in that, and, you know, him kind of getting out of jail, going back in the motorcycle races and all that. I didn't know what to expect with this one. It kind of just landed in the tier for me where it's just one movie that I'll watch once and probably never watch again, never revisit again. Yes, the one girl from the new Pretty Little Liars show, I thought that she was pretty good in this. KJ Appa's pretty good. I don't know where his career is going to go after Riverdale's ended. You know, he was just in Riverdale, and now this is his first movie after this. But yeah, as I said, it's a fine movie, but it's nothing that I'll go back to. But I think if you're a big motorcycle fan, love racing and all that, I think you'll find a lot more to enjoy here than I did. But to me, I think it's just okay. Next up, I got Jackpot. This is actually built on the cool premise of whoever wins the jackpot, you know, has the money, but the other people in the world can kill her. You know, I think it's 24 hours. They have to kill her to take the money from her, and she has to basically survive. It's like an all-out war, like a purge type of story. It has a cool premise, but is it really done that well? I don't think it is. You know, I saw the trailer for this one. I was like, this one looks stupid. Looks like a clear 2-star movie. And I was right. I gave it a 2 stars on my Letterboxd. Follow if you haven't. It's down below in the description. And Awkwafina, I just got to say, even though I don't hate her, she's just becoming way too overexposed. I feel like she's in like 2 movies every single year. It is just getting ridiculous at this point. I swear she's in 2 movies a year. I think she was in, you know, she was in Kung Fu Panda this year. Now she's in this. Last year she was in Little Mermaid, and I swear she was in one the same year before that. She was in Shang-Chi, which I think is her best performance to date. John Cena, though, I always have a fun time seeing John Cena, especially in this role where he's just this one buff dude that gets to protect Awkwafina's character and just beats everyone up. I think the action is choreographed decently well in this one. I did like how the action looked, but the story just is so surface level. Simu Liu is also in the movie. I thought he did decently, but it is just one of those streaming movies that didn't leave a big impression on me, except John Cena. I think John Cena is always great, so I'm going to put it in the bad tier. Now we got The Union, which is another Netflix streaming movie, and it's another piece of Netflix slop. This features Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry. I feel like they had some okay chemistry here, but it's kind of a weird chemistry because they're kind of like friends in here, but you feel like they have a romance going on, but they never actually kiss in this movie. And I don't understand what's up with that. If there's like behind the scenes drama or like something in the script saying they're not going to kiss at all. It's kind of weird. You know, it's about this secret organization. It's a story that you've heard before thousands of times. I feel like Netflix just recycles the same stories just with different actors, different A-list actors that say, oh, well, I'll take your $20 million or so to be in a Netflix movie that I won't care to talk about after I leave the premiere. That's basically how it works with Netflix. And I feel like a lot of adults that just watch Netflix streaming movies will eat this up and say this is one of the best movies of the year, even though it has such a very surface level action in it, and the story and script is bland as hell and boring as hell. I just wish I could have gotten my hour and 50 minutes back from this. I even kept it going for 10 minutes when I used the bathroom because I didn't care. I didn't care to pause it. It just wasn't, interesting at all. Mark Wahlberg, I think he's really gotten to that point where I just don't care about him anymore in anything. I just don't think he's showing the effort that he used to, especially in movies like Pain and Gain. Halle Berry, she's decent, but it's nothing, great in here. The performances are all just fine. So I'm going to put The Union in the terrible tier. Now we got the movie with the most drama of the year, it seems, which is It Ends With Us. Blake Lively and the director. This drama this movie has gotten is absolutely insane, especially because of what this movie's about, domestic violence and all that. So having, the drama of the movie kind of outshine all that, what the movie's actually about is horrible. You want to focus on what the movie's about and, bring awareness to domestic violence. I thought it's terrible, to hear that happen. It is doing very well at the box office though, because, a lot of fans went out to go see it because they love the book. A lot of people do not like the author though, Colleen Hoover. So it's like a split demographic, I guess I would say. A lot of people love the movie. If you love the movie, it's fine. I just thought it was, okay. It's something that, I think could have been handled better, in other directors' hands. It has some style to it, which I did like, but at the end of the day, it is way too long. I think it's 2 hours and 10 minutes or something like that. It felt 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think that they could have easily accomplished this story in about an hour and 40 minutes and not make it too long, but I did add a little bit of a half star or star rating just because they played Post Malone. Post Malone, my favorite artist of all time. So they got a little bit of an uptick for that one. I feel like this one starts out pretty strong and then it just keeps going slower. It's very slow. And it does feel like, it feels like a streaming movie. I would say, I don't want to, say that to some movies, but I feel like it does feel like that. I'd still put it in the okay tier though. Now we got The Instigators, which is a streaming movie, which launched on Apple TV Plus with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. Two great stars, two stars that I really do enjoy watching. And I had a decent time with this one. I don't think it's anything special. Jack Harlow's also in this. I feel like Jack Harlow is a pretty good actor, surprisingly. I would be surprised that I'd said that, but he's been in two movies that I've seen so far, in the new White Men Can't Jump movie, and then this one. He has a funny role in this movie. Matt Damon and Casey Affleck bounce off each other so perfectly. Their comedy against each other is great. Their chemistry is great. They kind of hate each other, and then they kind of love each other at certain time. It is really great to see them bounce off each other like that. Hong Chow also has a pretty interesting role in here. I liked her a lot. So I love the whole cast in this one. I will say that the movie and the story as a whole didn't really move me that much. It didn't really excite me that much. The first half I thought was a pretty big slog, hard to get through. The second half and the third act of the movie specifically is where it really starts to get a lot of fun. It really starts to be like a heist movie, kind of like an escape movie for these two criminals. They're trying to escape the cops, which one of them is Ving Rhames. I think that he's a pretty cool guy. But yeah, it is hard to get through until you get to that third act. And if the movie would have all been like the third act, then I would have had such a better time with this one. But sadly, it's not, so I'll just put this one in the okay tier. Next up is My Penguin Friend. This is actually based on a true story about this guy meeting a penguin, actually like kind of rescuing a penguin, then they become friends and all that. And the penguin, I forget how many miles it is, but he travels like so many more so much miles to go meet him, every summer. And then every winter he goes back to, his colony of other penguins, his other penguin friends, let's say that. I thought this one was pretty sweet. It's a pretty, surface level movie about, a penguin and all that. This guy meeting a penguin. I felt like it was a sweet time. It's a nice time at the theaters. I feel like a lot of the older audiences will like this one a lot. A lot of, moms will find a lot to like about this one. It tries to pull at your heartstrings a little bit. It didn't get me to cry, but I did feel kind of emotional for this penguin and just this guy, just this relationship that they built. And it's awesome. The true story. I love these true stories when they can see the real, photos and images at the end of the movie. And I had a decent time with it, so I'll put it in the okay tier. Another Netflix movie that came out was Incoming. This is kind of like a new party movie, I would say, about these 4 kids entering high school. Then they go to this party and all hell breaks loose and all that. It's kind of like a play on, Superbad or Project X, but a lot more, a lot less rated R, I would say. I'm not sure. I think this one is rated R, but it's not as, raunchy as those movies that I just said. I had a fun time with this one. I mean, I'm not in high school. I got out of high school like 3 years ago, graduated, but I feel like this one will be a lot more fun for people that are going back to school, because a lot of people just started to get going back to school in like August, September and all that. Especially if you're entering high school, you'll have a lot of fun with this one. Mason Thames is the lead of this one. I'm happy that he's getting more roles. He was terrific in the Black Throne from a couple years ago. He's going to be in the new How to Train a Dragon live action movie, which I'm praying is good. Don't mess up my favorite animated series, my favorite animated franchise. But yeah, I had a fun time with this one. It got a couple laughs out of me. There's nothing really special done with it, but I felt like the ending and the relationship that Mason Thames' character made with this one girl was really sweet. So I'll put this one in the good tier. Now we got Trap, which is M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie. Josh Hartnett is the lead of this one, along with M. Night's daughter in this one, kind of like a nepotism movie, a lot of people are saying. But I felt like his daughter and her songs added a lot to this movie. The strongest points of this movie are at that concert, which Josh Hartnett brings his daughter to, which is kind of like the first half and all they show in the trailers. They did it really good at not showing a lot from the trailers. But yeah, I will say the strongest parts of this are in the concert area. I had a lot of fun with that, and a lot of fun. I think M. Night Shyamalan had a lot of fun of planning out the specific scenes there and what Josh Hartnett gets to do. Like there's one scene where, this stage kind of opens at the bottom. Josh Hartnett's character's like, let's go down here. It'll be fun. His daughter's like, are you crazy? What are you doing? M. Night's dialogue is always super funny because it's nothing that humans would ever say, but I feel like he just makes it that way just for fun. And I will say it is pretty fun. The second half of the movie revolves not in the concert area, so it's kind of different. That part didn't work as much as for me as the concert area did, but I still had fun with it. And the last moments of this movie had me grinning from ear to ear. I really did love those final shots. And Josh Hartnett, he is really cool. He is really good in this movie. It made me wish that he had more leading roles, because him and Oppenheimer last year was great, and him in this, he was a really great kind of sadistic villain at times. So I really enjoyed this one, so I'll put this one in the good tier. Now we got Borderlands, the newest, video game adaptation. I'm not going to spend a long time on this one. You've heard it from a lot of people. It is as bad as you heard it was. It is just, really lifeless. A lot of, not a lot of care brought into this. Video game fans would be, outraged at what this turned into. I can't find a lot to really say positive-wise about this. I feel like Ariana Greenblatt is the most positive thing I can say about it, because she's pretty fun in this one. Kevin Hart tries his best, but I feel like he's just playing who he always plays on here. The set design CGI is pretty awful. You can see a lot of the green screen. I will say the costume design is my favorite part about the movie. The costumes look great. Some of the action sequences are nicely choreographed, but that third act, man, that was abysmal. Some of the effects in that third act, Cate Blanchett didn't even look like she was there for half the third act. Like, my God, this is one of the biggest flops of the year, and it deserves to be. So it's going in the terrible tier. Now we got Strange Darling. This is the newest indie movie, and I was a big fan of this one. I decided to actually go see this because I wasn't interested to go see this because I didn't know what it was. But there was a lot of praise being thrown about this one, especially at Fantastic Fest from last year. So I decided to go see it a couple days ago, and I had a great time. Me and my friend really did like this one. It is like a serial killer thriller with a lot of twists and turns in it. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here. The two main performances, though, are fantastic. Some of the best of the year, and this is shot so well. The direction here was fantastic. It also said in the beginning it's shot on 35 millimeter film, which I think is always the best way to shoot your movie, especially if you're shooting like an indie movie or a thriller and all that. It just looks the best, especially with the flashes of the film happening on screen. I always love how that looks. It is paced terrifically, and that's because of it's told in a non-linear way, which means it's kind of out of order. It's told in 6 chapters. It being out of order just adds the mystery, adds the suspense, adds the fun that you get to have. I thought this was just a great time. I really do think and recommend seeing this in theaters. If you don't get a chance, watch it on digital. It is terrific. I think it's in my top 15 of the year so far. I think it's great. Now we got Cuckoo, the newest movie from Neon, and I gotta say Neon is really killing it this year with this. Long Legs, and they have a couple other ones. I think Immaculate was Neon too. They're killing it with horror this year. Happy to see them really stepping up as a studio production company. I really had a great time with this one also. I know a lot of people, there's some, this one's kind of divisive on the internet. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it a lot more than some other people. I thought Hunter Schafer was brilliant in this one. I loved her in Euphoria, and I really was interested to see how she'd do in a horror movie, in her own movie, leading role, and she was great. I loved her in here. Dan Stevens, though, I thought he stole the show for me as kind of like the villain of the movie, and kind of just like a creepy little guy hanging around the corners, and you don't know what's really going on. Like in this trailer, you didn't know what to even expect because the trailer didn't really show you anything, and I didn't expect what happened in the movie because the story that goes on here is kind of crazy, kind of disturbing. I don't really want to give it away. I will say though, there's some great shots in this one. Cinematography is off the charts. If you've seen the trailer, there's a shot where Hunter Schafer's riding the bike with their headphones on, and there's this lady just running out here with their mouth wide open. That in the movie is one of the scariest things I've seen this year. Just the build up to that was absolutely insane. I love the way it was paced too. It kind of just felt like a truly original story brought to life, which I thought was going to be divisive when I got out of it. I was like, not a lot of people are going to really like this one, especially when the reveal happens, because I was like, that is an absolutely crazy reveal, and I kind of loved it. So yeah, I thought that this one was awesome, and I cannot wait to own this just to rewatch it over and over again. I love the style. Now we got Didi, which is the newest coming of age movie, and I was waiting to watch this for a long time into my theater markets, and I finally got it at one of my art house theaters. If you have like an artsy theater near you, go to them at least like once every couple months. They are great theaters. I always think that those theaters have the most respectful audiences and are usually kept the cleanest because they care so much about showing these films, showing these nice movies, and this one lived up to my high expectations. I absolutely loved this movie, and I related to it on such an extreme level. It took place in 2008. If you were born in the 2000s, I feel like you will also relate to this movie. It is just about this kid starting high school, starting his new year in life, learning how to flirt, learning how to love himself, learning to become a new person, losing friends, trying to get back friends at the same time. It is really terrific. The main character, is kind of unlikable at times, but it's not his fault. He's trying to, find himself. He's trying to, better himself at the same time. And I love the vibes of this one. It just felt so great. Coming of age movies are just usually one of the easier genres to watch because it feels so real. It feels so lived in, because a lot of coming of age movies, you can connect with so many little things in those movies, especially this one. It took place when, social media is just starting. It kind of missed the times of where I didn't rely on social media. Not a lot of people relied on social media. Those were the times, went outside and hung with your friends for like the whole summer. And this one just had all that coming from it. And it did get me kind of emotional at times. I didn't shed any tears, but it did get me really emotional. But I thought that the performances were great. And the direction by Sean Wang, I think that's how you say his name. This is his first full feature film. I think he did do some shorts before this, but man, what a great first feature for him. Terrific stuff here. This is going in the amazing tier. Now we got Blink Twice, which is Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut, and she knocked it out of the park. I was super surprised at what she brought to this movie. You know, it being her first movie that she directs, I wasn't expecting, you know, anything flashy, anything, you know, super crazy. But she kind of went for here. She kind of, you know, went for some extreme themes here. And I thought that she landed almost all of them. I will say this one does have a warning of domestic violence in this one, sexual violence in this one. So go into this one if you don't, or if you are triggered by this stuff, probably wait for it on streaming so you can skip those scenes, because some of it is actually pretty disturbing of what's going on behind the scenes there. I thought that her direction was crazy good. The style here is very nice. It feels like a, you know, a nice movie in the summer on. You got the, you know, they're going to like the island, Channing Tatum's island, which is, a lot of people are joking like Epstein's island here, and I kind of do get the jokes there. There's a lot of white in here, a lot of greens. It just feels like summer vibes. Channing Tatum, though, God, he is fantastic. Naomi Aki and Adria Horna, though, they're both also fantastic. I feel like they are both killing it, especially Adria. You know, her with Hitman, Rogue One, Andor, and now this. She is killing it. Channing Tatum, though, stole the show as kind of like the main villain. This is his best performance probably since 21 Jump Street of all time. Like, he killed it, man. He really did bring it all here, and he has this one main monologue at the end, which really shocked me. I was like, man, he's going for it. He really is the guy. He's about to make a name for himself, if you get the joke. You know, him showing up as Gambit, he really is coming back in a strong way. Gambit this year, Fly Me to the Moon, now this. 3 movies in 1 year. This is the Channing Tatum that we love and that we deserve. Now I just need a 20, I need 23 Jump Street. Come on, please, Channing Tatum. We need it so badly. But real talk, though, I had a fun time with this one. I feel like it might be divisive too, and I mean, I know a lot of people haven't seen it. It will do really great on streaming. It is kind of disturbing at times, kind of funny at times. It's a mix of so many different things, but I thought Channing Tatum was excellent, so I'll put Blink Twice in the great tier. Alien Romulus is one of my favorite movies of the year. Let me just tell you, I love this movie a lot more than a lot of other people. Some people really hate it. There's kind of like an online discourse about this one. I feel like that's what happens with every horror movie, though. A lot of people are upset that they brought, you know, Ian Holmes back, you know, with kind of AI. But, you know, I feel like it wasn't needed, but I'm not really mad at it because they did ask for the family's permission and they did give it to him. Fede Alvarez, you know, really loves that character, so I kind of do. I don't have too much of a problem with it as some other people do. But I felt like there were some other opportunities that you could have taken, like bringing David back. But I still love this story, and I love the way that this was shot. This is just sci-fi to the max right here. The practical effects, the xenomorph, the facehuggers were terrific. Any sci-fi movie, even if it's bad, I just love going to the theaters to experience them because you experience a whole new world here. I've seen this one 4 times so far. I want to go back and watch it again just because I love the scenery here. David Johnson might have had the best performance in the whole movie. He is the synthetic in this movie and kind of gets to play 2 different synthetics. He is terrific here. Kaylee Spaney, Isabella Merced, they are also really terrific. Isabella Merced has this one sequence where she does a really big scream, and I thought that she did that scream very well. And the xenomorphs in here were used terrifically, not too much, not too little. And there's one sequence where Kaylee Spaney's character Rain is using a pulse rifle on a xenomorph, and it's some of the coolest stuff that I've seen this year. And the last act of this movie will freak you out. It freaked me out on the first watch, still freaks me out a little bit because there is one little creature at the ending that I was not expecting to see. Some callbacks to other movies I wasn't expecting to really hear of. And there was one jump scare near the last 15 minutes of this movie that made me jump out of my seat like super high, and it still makes me jump every time I see it. I'm getting ready for that jump scare, and I still jump seeing it. Such a great jump scare. Fede Alvarez knows how to make an effective horror movie, and I actually do hope that they follow up with this movie because I feel like there could be a really cool sequel built up on to this movie if you've seen it. There's like a new planet that could be in the sequel, which could really be awesome, especially with what they have in their new ship now. But as I said, I really love it. Science fiction is my favorite genre, and even if a science fiction movie isn't that great, I will still love it. But this one was great, and I loved it so much. So it's going in the amazing tier. Lastly, we have Sing Sing, which is A24's newest movie, and A24 has to do a better job at releasing their movies because so many people want to go see this movie, but it's hardly been released anywhere. I had to wait like 2 months for it to get released at my local art house theater, and I was so happy I finally got to see it because it is my second favorite movie of the year. It is so damn good. It is perfect in my opinion, and it is very emotional. It's the most moving film of the year. It had me tearing up like 3 or 4 times during this movie, and that is a great thing because of the topics that it discusses. It discusses themes of, humanity, what art can do to change someone's life, and it's kind of about the RTA program, rehabilitation through the arts, at the Sing Sing prison, which helps prisoners and film form community skills, be more human, and kind of get out of the bad stuff, get out of being in a gang, get out of doing harmful things in this in this prison, and join play, act, start acting, and build all these skills. I thought it was just beautiful. It's such a beautiful movie and handled with so much care. This one is also shot very well. It was shot on film. I think it was 16 millimeter film. It looked terrific, and I think it is the front runner for Best Pictures so far. Coleman Domingo, Clarence Macklin, both did terrific. I think they both deserved nominations and even wins for this one. And what's even so special about this one is that a lot of the cast members, and most of them, were actually from prisons. They were actually in prisons in this program, the RTA program, so they've actually experienced this before and brought that to the movie. I thought it was terrific that they brought them in to do that. It's a very beautiful film with a very beautiful story that I feel like a lot of people will be moved by. And if you have a chance, see it in your theaters, and if not, just wait until it gets on digital. I feel like everyone will really find something to love about this one. So it's going in the amazing tier, and now we gotta rank all the movies. Some in the terrible tier. The SpongeBob movie is at the worst. I'd probably put Borderlands at the front because it's not as bad as those ones. The bad tier, I'd put The Crow at the front, then Jackpot, then Harold on the purple crayon, because I'd probably rewatch The Crow out of all of them if I had to, if I was forced to. In the okay tier, I'd actually go with My Penguin Friend at the front. Then I would go with I'd go with One Fast Move. It Ends With Us, then The Instigator. Actually, One Fast Move can go at the bottom. It's not one that I really care about. The good tier, I'll put Trap over Incoming because I really loved what M. Night Shyamalan did with that first half. Now we got the great tier, some really great movies this month. If you haven't gone out and see them in the theater, go out and see them right now. I'm probably gonna rank them at Cuckoo, then Strange Darling, then Blink Twice. I feel like that is a great ranking. Some great female stars in some of these movies. I really did love what these female stars did. Really great leading performances by them. The amazing tier. We had 3 amazing movies this month. Oh, round of applause right there. That is terrific stuff. Usually August is like bare and has like minimum stuff, but we had some great movies here. I feel like this is pretty easy ranking for me. I'll go Sing Sing first, second favorite movie of the year. Didi second, then Alien third. Even though I love science fiction, I feel like Didi, I just really related to a lot as a kid, and really as a, going to school during those times and growing up in the early 2000s. As Sing Sing, though, it's easily the best movie of the month. As I said, watch it when you do get a chance. But anything in the great tier and the amazing tier are some fantastic movies to watch in the theaters or on digital. So if you get a chance, go watch those movies. But that is my ranking of all 18 movies that I saw in August. Leave down below your own rankings. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.